Alrighty. So thank you, Vanessa, for joining me.
Thank
this
you.
is gonna be more of like a conversation, like obviously an interview, but feel free to ask me questions and go back and forth.
Sure.
So I like to start off each episode with hot seat. Actually, before hot seat questions, first give the people a little introduction about yourself.
Hi guys, my name is Vanessa, or Enem. Vanessa is my first name, it's my government, so I go by that sometimes. But Enem is the name a lot of people call me as well, and I am a chemical engineering graduate. I work at a pharmaceutical company as an engineering consultant, and I also run an engineering blog or vlog. It's a video, I have a YouTube channel basically, where I talk about all things related to engineering and some things that some information that I wish I knew when I was starting out. So like interview skills, different engineering disciplines, what industries you can work in, just any information I wish I had when I was doing that. I try to give that information. So I love supporting creatives and people who just want to put, information out there, give their own perspective, which is why I was delighted to be on her podcast.
Stop. No, I'm so thankful to have you on. Although, like Vanessa said, like she's an chemical engineering graduate, I still watch her stuff. Her content is still good. So you guys should definitely go follow her on YouTube. Also follow her on Instagram. It's great. So I like to start off each episode with hot seat questions. So there's just 3 random questions. The first one is, when have you been most satisfied with your life?
Can't even lie, I was most satisfied when I got my chemical engineering degree, because I thought I was winging it. Like all through I was like, am I actually doing this? Because it wasn't like it was my passion to be a chemical engineer. My parents just suggested it because I knew so much math. And like, you can't let this go to waste.
Right.
So me actually going through the whole program and finishing it, when I know there's a high dropout rate, there's so many other things that could have gone wrong. I knew I was confused at lots of different points as well. Actually graduated, I was like, oh, wow.
You did it.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
You know?
It's honestly, I feel like, especially being Africans, I feel like people don't realize that graduating is actually a big deal.
It's a big deal.
It's a big accomplishment.
Because most of the time you don't know what you're getting yourself into.
No. Like it really, nah. Honestly, if you have graduated from whatever program, whether it be a diploma, a bachelor, whatever, that's a great accomplishment. That's a huge feat.
Be proud of yourself.
Yes, be proud of yourself. Second thing, what is the best thing about being a woman?
I think, let me think about this. I think the best thing about being a woman is the power we have in terms of emotional intelligence. Most people think that works against us. Most people, aka guys. But most people think that works against us, but I feel like it works for us.
Yeah.
There's a certain level of emotional intelligence, not all, but most women possess. And I think that helps in terms of, like, women in leadership positions. It gives them an advantage, in my opinion. And just communication, meeting people, understanding people, bonding with people. It's something about that emotional intelligence that helps us get ahead, in my opinion. And I feel like we should all embrace that.
Yeah, I think that's good. Also, last one, what is the underlying motivation behind your goals and dreams?
The underlying emotion behind my goals and dreams.
The underlying motivation.
Oh, the underlying motivation. I don't know. Motivation? I don't know. Maybe it's like just my past self, like knowing how I was. Like I was always lost. That's how I felt. I felt like my mode was always like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so lost. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so lost. So I feel like most of the things I do and I cater towards are people who I know are probably lost like me, because I always thought it was a me thing, but it's not. So a lot of people who feel that same way as well. So I feel like it's always trying to cater to the older me, the past me, the younger me. So yeah,
that's good. That's true. I was thinking about the question for myself, and I was just thinking, I want to encourage people to like it's okay to not figure it out. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Because I think that there's always this thing that you should know what you need to do in the moment, and it's like, but for me, I'm big 23. I don't know nothing.
Big 25 over here.
I really don't know anything. Like, I'm figuring it out as I go. So just telling I guess my motivation is having other people realize, like, it's okay to not figure it out. As long as you're not being stagnant, like you are actively moving forward or trying to figure things out, that's all that matters.
And trust me, there was a point when I got out of school and I was looking for a job, I felt like the best gameplay was to find mentors. Like, maybe they'll have the answers. Like, just find mentors in my program. They'll be able to tell me what's going on. They've had it all figured out. And I meet with a lot of these mentors, established women, and they're just like, still don't know what I'm doing. I'm going with emotions. I'm figuring it out as I go, and that's how it's gonna be. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you this. Do you think we'll ever figure it out?
I think we'll reach maximum satisfaction at some point. Maybe not maximum, but a good level of satisfaction with the goals and the aspirations that we have. But I don't think we'll ever truly figure it out.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Okay, so now let's get into it. So the reason I invited Vanessa onto the podcast was because, one, she's bomb. But two, I follow her on Instagram and I can see how important for her friendship is, and also female friendships, and I really wanted us to talk about that because I feel like female friends, or that whole having female friends, has such a bad rap. I don't know why, and I'm like, I guess media aside, whatever, people have had bad experiences, you know, because there is this idea that women are super catty, and in some cases they are. Like, I don't want to say that that's not the case, but I feel like we fail to realize who we have in our circle and celebrating those people. So I wanted to.
I saw a picture one time of all these group of girls, like 18 or 20, all on vacation together. And I was looking at the comments, and most of the comments were like, whoa, like, this is so rare. Oh my God, how did this happen? Like, I'm sure that vacation went left. I'm sure, like, they were fighting. I'm sure they were. And I'm just like, why is that the sentiment behind like a group of women together? You know, why is that sentiment where, I mean, I don't blame people for the most part, because they always think like women are always out for each other because of like the lack of spaces in places for certain things. They always feel like there's a limited amount of spots for women in general in any space. So I feel like women have always had to be in competition with each other. Same thing like I hate to get into pop culture, but same thing with like the Nicki Minaj and the Cardi B situation. You know, the clashing just because a new female rapper is coming into this space. People saying this or that, like her or her. You know? So that whole sentiment of like, you know, it's you or her, it's you or her. It's like what gets people really like riled up.
And it's so unfortunate. We're already getting into it, but it's so unfortunate because I know for me, some of the most fruitful relationships in my life are with women. And you know, like my oldest friend is my best friend. She's a woman, and we've been friends for over 20 years. No cap, like for real. That's my girl. Like, that's my girl. And it just so sucks because we have such a great relationship, and when I hear other people who are like, wow, that must be so nice, like I don't have that, I'm like, damn, like you're like, it sucks because you're really missing out.
See, I've been blessed. Now I call it a blessing, but I went to an all-girls boarding school back home in Nigeria, which I thought was, you know, hard times. but I feel like it built such a unity between like the girls, because we're all girls. It built like a unity. Some of those people I went to school with, they're some of my closest friends. We've been able to sustain that friendship of over like 15 years, you know, because, you know, it's just a bonding experience. And also coming here too, I've been able to actually form great relationships with women as well, which I think is important. I think because I also think it's important, I seek it and I try like my best to like, you know, make it happen. Because I see the value in it. There's so much value in having that perspective, you know, that female perspective, like having that kind of friendship, growing together, even if it's just for fun, like just having fun together, for like a female friend that you have a blast with every time you meet up, or a female friend that you when you guys meet, it's all about, you know, advancing or talking about like growing, you know, just stuff like that. I think it's very important.
Yeah. So let's go back to your childhood a bit. Who's your oldest childhood friend?
My oldest childhood friend is Rema. Rema is actually in Canada now. She's my oldest childhood friend. She was my best friend in grade from grade 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
She was my best friend throughout like elementary school, and we're kind of in and out of touch in high school. But then when she came to Canada, we reconnected again. But she's like my oldest friend that I know, and I still talk to right now.
Yeah. And how do you think you guys have been able? You said that there was a little bit of like touch and go at a part, but now you guys are close again. How do you think you were able to salvage that? You know what I mean?
I feel the touch and go is mostly because we went to separate high schools. We went to separate high schools in different states, you know. I think that was just an excitement when I knew she was coming to Canada, right? Because I'm here, she's going to be coming to the same province, so it was just that reconnecting. I feel like it's also the energy we brought to it. It's like, oh, I'm excited. You know, it wasn't like, what's she up to? What's she up to? It's that it came as a very pure energy of like, oh, let me reconnect with this person, you know?
Yeah, so how has your friendship circle evolved over the years? Reason I ask this, for me, my friendship circle, honestly, hasn't really changed much. Like, I'm still friends with my childhood friends. Like, I probably have 4 new friends over the past, like, 5 years. And that's from university. 2 of them are from 4 of them are from university, 1's from work. But everyone else is my childhood friends. So there hasn't been much of evolution. Like, it's just that we've gotten older and more mature. But for you, how have your friendships evolved?
They have evolved in, I feel like most of my friends right now are females. And I wish I had more male friends, first of all. That's the thing that I realized. At this point, I feel like I have not that many strong male friends, which is a problem. Because
I think so too.
I think it's a problem. How is it that our genders are not able to connect on a friendship level?
Right.
You know? So I think that's a problem. That's something I want to fix. Hopefully I can. But my female friends, they've evolved in terms of I've been able to grow. I've been able to grow in numbers of like the friends I have, based off of like school or workplace or just networking events that I go for. Because I have that mindset where I want to meet people. I feel like that I'm at the point where I really just want to meet people, talk to people, see what everyone's into something so unique. It's like wonderful. So I'm just in that mindset of like meeting people.
That's good. Okay. Basing on coming off of that question, what role have your female friendships played in your life?
They've played several roles. I have some female friends who are like my confidants. I would be able to tell them my most vulnerable situations, in terms of like guys or like personal issues or like family issues. I feel very comfortable with some of my female friends telling them that, which is good that I even have that kind of relationship with some women. Some of them are my mentors, who are even my age. They don't know they're my mentors, some of them, but like I view them as my mentors. And some of them are my age, some of them are older than me, but it doesn't matter. I have some who are just like, if I want my spirit to be lifted, if I want to have a good time, I know I can call on this friend or that friend, and I know like I'm gonna get positive or get happy again, you know, get in a good space. And then I have some friends who are very resourceful. I have some very resourceful friends who are just very knowledgeable. They're always putting me onto something new, always teaching me something new, and that's important to have as well. Yeah.
Multiple uses, which is great. Because I feel like some people, I don't say compartmentalize, but it's like some friends you have for some things and some for others. And I don't think that's a bad thing.
It's not, because you have to be able to identify people's strengths. Like, you know, the strengths of your friends, you have to identify their strengths. It also helps with the friendship too. So you don't get mad when this friend isn't able to support you in this type of way, you know?
Right.
You need to know which of your friends is more sensitive than the other. So you don't go with this energy towards that person, you know. It's important that you know how your friends are and who they are. Get to know them so you can also, they can benefit from you being their friend and you can benefit from them being your friend,
right?
You know?
Right. Yeah. Ooh, that's true. What, in your opinion, what is the biggest misconception about female friendships?
I think the biggest misconception is that it's fake. That it's a fake friendship and it's gonna blow up at some point. That's the biggest misconception. And I have friendships going on like 15 years now and still not blown up, so
right? You thought
we'll see. But no. So I think that's the biggest misconception that I know of, and yeah, that's the main one.
Yeah, I think that's a big one, because even like you said earlier, going back to the photo that you saw, people are like, oh my goodness, this trip must have been bad or whatever. It's like, no, what if they had a really great time?
Someone was like, I can't even keep one female friend. How can you guys have 18?
See, that's the thing. I think you really, if you cannot keep one female friend, I really feel like you have to evaluate yourself. That might be rude.
Shots.
But honestly, no, it can't always be the other person.
Yeah, it can't. No, it can't always be the other person. Like also, how do you feel about girls who say that I only have male friends?
That's a problem, to be honest. I think that's a problem.
You're right.
Cause how
are you only able to connect with the other gender in terms of friendship?
Because I feel like there's certain things that men aren't going to understand with women. That's just how it is. We're wired differently. So if you telling me that, oh, I can't have female friends, you know, guys understand, it's like,
it's different if you have had like a terrible experience with a group of girls and they treated you some type of way. But that's just that group of girls who did that to you. Connecting with like other females, you should be able to do that because it's helpful for you. You will not be able to connect with a guy the way you be able to connect. I shouldn't say it's not set on stone, but you would have a very beneficial relationship with female friends. So yeah.
So you are in engineering. You are a woman in STEM. So how is it navigating that space as a woman, as a Black woman?
It's very interesting. It's funny because I'm Nigerian. Let me tell you guys about this whole Nigerian and Black American or Black Canadian situation. Nigerians, we lived in a place where it was just us. Like we were the norm. Like we're all Black. That's why we have time for petty stuff like tribe.
Right.
But like we were all Black, right? So coming here, I didn't even know I was in a category. You know, I just came, and I'm realizing like when people look at me, they're not gonna be asking, oh, are you African or are you Black, Canadian, or you? No, they just look at you and say Black, you know. And I didn't even know I was falling into that category. So it's just an interesting journey coming as an African and being in this space now. So yeah, I started to notice things like my first year, my physics lab course, I was the only Black person, not Black woman, I was the only Black person in the class. And then me looking around and looking for who I was gonna pick as a lab partner, and I'm just like, it would be nice,
you know,
if I could have someone who looked like me, you know. So yeah, and even as a woman as well, because people like to say, oh, engineering women, engineering girls, they're so uptight, they're so this, they're so that. But I don't know. I think we take stuff very seriously. We wanted to excel, so we're gonna take it seriously, right? But then that's the comments we always heard from guys about like women in engineering. It's almost like we've lost some level of attractiveness because we are so into like excelling, you know.
That sounds like a whole lot of like really?
Yeah. And the guys in our class would be like, oh, you know, the dream is to get with an artsy girl and like marry. Like they'll say comments where it's almost like, yeah, no girl in this engineering sphere is like attractive because like it's too smart. Like this,
right?
No, you know, it needs to balance out. We need, and that's also annoying for them to even think that an art girl is like that has like some type of lower IQ. I don't know what it is that makes you think that, you know, going for that. I don't know what it is, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's also a thing. And then I don't know. Now in the workspace, being a Black woman in the workspace, my company tries to be as diverse as they can, which I appreciate. It's not just about me when it comes to diversity. There's also like so many other facets. There's like Asians who are minorities as well. There's like First Nations. There's different types. So if I see that representation from different groups, from different minority groups, that makes me happy. I don't care if I'm the only black person in the room.
Yeah.
As long as you're trying, I can see the effort to make it diverse. Then I'm happy.
How have your interactions been with fellow female engineers?
I think it's been wonderful. Yeah, I think it's been wonderful. Even when I was in school, the female engineering students I met when I was in school, I feel like they added so much value to my life. Like me finding them when I found them in second year, it's like since then it was like onwards and upwards. Like, it was a very beautiful relationship. And also coming out of school and going for all these events where I met other female engineers, it's been a wonderful relationship. Like I tell most of them who are way top professionals, I tell them, I have this YouTube channel, they're always ready to help, they're always ready to share. These are women who are just like, because they're like professional, licensed engineers, or they have like multiple degrees, they're just killing it. And like little old me, like you guys want to support this, right? Yeah. But I feel like women in engineering are very, 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 very supportive.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I love hearing that. Because it just pokes holes in the whole, women can't be friends or don't like to support each other. Like, no, that is not always the case. Yeah. So I think every person has this moment in their life where they're like, wow, I have great people in my life. Like, I love my friends. Share a moment where the time where you had that kind of like, oh my goodness, I have great friends.
Let me see. I think it's several moments.
Sure too.
Because I have different groups of friends. Some of them have never met each other at all. I have different groups of female friends who have never met each other. So I have a lot of like contentment moments with a lot of them. Let me see. Like after school, when I went on a trip to New York with like my female friends from engineering. That was amazing. The fact that we could do that, go to a different city, have a swell time, that was great. And any time I spend with my female friends, because they are my friends, I love it and I cherish it. It's always a good time. So I feel like I always have that moment afterwards. Like when they leave, I'm just like, I'm so happy this person is in my life. I'm so happy that I can connect with. Today I'm going for a lunch with like my female friends because we haven't seen each other in a while, all together. So we're just gonna catch up, and I know afterwards I'm gonna be like, so refreshing. It's like recharged,
Yeah, it's so true. Like even my best friend Raquel, we haven't seen each other in a while. This is the one who works for UTSC. She messaged me, and I've been meaning to message her and be like, hey, I haven't seen you in so long. Like, how are you?
The reach out,
Yeah. And so I was legit thinking about it, and I was like trying to type something up, and then she sends me a text. She's like, hey, how are you? I haven't seen you in so long. Want to do breakfast on Saturday? So we went out for breakfast yesterday. And I'm telepathic,
you know what I mean?
She's like, I feel you. Like, Raquel, like, that's what I'm thinking about. It's so important. We were able to like kiki and talk about everything from dating. We have to talk about that. But like talking about like dating and then like our careers. And she recently started a podcast, which you guys should check out, called Talking Stories with Grad.
Okay, I'll check it out.
And we were talking about that, and it was just like, wow. And even in that moment, I was like, this is my friend who, like, I've known all my life. Like, we used to run around with each other, have sleepovers, and, like, celebrate birthdays, like, and then to us be sitting here in the Sunset Grill talking about like, life. I was like,
I know, it blows my mind, too.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
It's wild, absolutely wild. So when did you, I feel like I'm asking the same question different ways, but it's like, oh well. But
let's get into this.
When did you realize the importance of having close female friendships or friends?
After every breakup.
Yeah.
I use breakup loosely because some of them.
I hear you. I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying? But after every breakup, Like,
Yeah.
who better to talk to? I'm not gonna go talk to a male acquaintance and be like, hey, look at what your
Right.
people did to me, you know? I'm gonna talk to my female friend who are probably gonna be like, girl, I've been there, or girl,
Yeah.
he did that, this, I've experienced that too, or just be like, they'll just be like, oh, you know, do this, do that,
Yeah.
get over it, like,
Yeah.
you'll be fine, you know? So I appreciate them a lot during
Yeah.
those times. I also appreciate them. My female friends are very resourceful, honestly.
Mhm.
Anytime I'm looking for some type of solution, I know I can message this one or that one or this one, and they'll have a variety of like answers for me. So in that sense too, yeah.
Beautiful. I love it. What advice would you give to a woman who's struggling to find her tribe, struggling to find her girl group?
I would say don't give up, first of all, because I feel like at some point you're gonna be like, oh, this is getting exhausting. Don't give up. Put yourself out there. It's mostly the energy you give out that you're gonna receive back. So put yourself out there. Be open. Be friendly. Be loving. Follow up. Most of the time, people don't really know if. People are not telepathic. They can't really read your mind. They don't know how you're actually feeling. So follow up. If people be like, oh, you know, had a nice time chatting with you today. Let's go out for this. Let's do this. Just put yourself out there and network. And network. Just keep networking. It's a hit or miss for sure, but sometimes it actually works out. So
What kind of tips would you give to someone who's kind of shy about like networking?
If you're kind of shy, I think you still have to force yourself to get out there. I would like to think I was shy at first. Most people say, oh no, you're not, but I like to think I was shy at some point.
Like, honestly, like, okay.
I even made a whole video on YouTube about it. I was like, you know, getting
people
over
think,
shyness.
oh, you're not shy. I'm like, bruh, I am. Like, obviously, I have this in me.
You don't feel my heart racing when I'm in a. You don't see it. I'm the one who feels it. You know.
Oh my god.
I know I was shy, and what I did was, I made sure I tapped into the people who I already knew, who were very outgoing. Just was around them when they say, oh, let's go for this event. I'm just like, yes. Even if I don't necessarily feel like it, I'm just like, yes, let me just put myself. I took an active decision to get over it as soon as possible. I used to go for events and I didn't even know how to network with people and introduce myself. I would just go and like stand, smile, and then it's the end of the event. I just take my bag and I go home, you know. But the more I exposed myself to those events, the more I picked up on techniques. I picked up on the way people were like introducing themselves, how people just jump into conversation. Like 3 people are talking, and someone could just come in and be like, "Oh, that's funny. I know what you guys like. What you guys are talking about is really fun," and they join into the conversation. And I'm like, "Wow, what sorcery is that?" You know. So just figuring that out, watching people network. It was an active decision I took. I was like, I need to break out of this. You know, I need to break out of this, and I'm at the point now where I could go for events by myself. So I feel like that's a win. You know, I can go for events by myself. I know that I can make connections.
Right.
Know that I can talk to people. Know that I can have a good time just by going by myself. I don't need to go with anyone anymore. So I think that's like the accomplishment.
That's so good at making an active decision to get over it. That's that's a word. That's a word.
Yeah.
Wow, Vanessa. No, for real though, because who was I talking to? Oh, I read a quote. I think it was by Kamora Simmons. It was on Twitter like 2 days ago. And it was saying, if you're shy, get over it because you're just slamming the door in your face.
Yep.
And that came for me. I was like, ooh, okay, because there have been plenty of oh my gosh, for example, here's an example. So last night we went to go see Us, my brother and I, and we walked out, and a couple of our favorite content creators were standing out there, just standing there. Just standing there. I guess I'm pretty sure they were in the film too, so they were whatever. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's so-and-so. And my brother's like, well, go up and say hi. I'm like, no. It's okay.
we have a brain fart.
Yeah.
Let me see. So I was saying how it's not about being in everyone's face, being so like obnoxious. That's not what we're talking about. We're social beings by nature, human beings. Even just for the emotional support or for learning things or for growing, you need people skills. But also, you could be reserved. If you're shy, you could be reserved later on. Like you could be a reserved person and still be outgoing and still be forthcoming and still have good conversations with people, you know? So, yeah.
I think also a big thing, I think the reason sometimes I don't capitalize on certain opportunities is because I'm so consumed about, well, that other person might think weird or might not give me the approach or, you know what I mean? Like, reciprocate. Because it's like, I can't keep making the effort. If you don't make the effort as well, this conversation isn't gonna go anywhere. And if you make me feel weird for just being outgoing and saying, hi, how are you? I like your shoes, where'd you get them? Like, then it's not gonna go.
And then that's not on you.
Exactly.
That is not on you.
Right.
That's on them.
Exactly.
Because you talk to this person, they respond this way. Yeah, sure. But you talk to this other person, they're like, wow, you're good conversation.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. Come for this. Do this. Do that. That could work out perfectly too. It's not like, I feel like a lot of times we give people so much power, like over our lives. You give people so much power. They're not paying your bills. They're not doing anything for you. Yeah. They just feel like they, no. Just don't give people power, honestly. Just know what you want to do, know what will make you happy, know what will benefit you, and do it, you know?
Ooh, guys, it's Sunday. You guys are going to see this on Thursday, or at least hear this on Thursday, but we're having a church session.
Do you see this all white?
Legit. You know what I mean? This was ordained. Like, this really was meant to be. Oh, man. Well, thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Or
no, I think this was
encouragement.
This is really good. This is really good. I feel like you would go far with a group of supportive women. You will go far in this life with a group of supportive women. And I feel like it's worth it for you to keep pushing, keep trying to find your tribe, keep trying to connect with women, keep trying to put that positive narrative out there about female friendships and the benefit of, being female. Just keep being you and keep pushing and keep progressing.
Yeah, and even if it's online, that's a great starting point. You know what I mean? You don't have to always meet people in person, which is always great. But also online, if you see someone doing something that you think is cool, say congratulations. The amount of people who are famous or have people know who they are, and if they're doing something cool and they post it in their IG story, I just respond. Not because I'm expecting I want something back, but just let them know, I see you, you're doing a great job, and who knows.
And in case you are going through a space where you're just like, I'm not too sure, I'm unsure, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's why reaching out is also really important. Like sometimes we're doing something, and to some people it may seem like, oh wow, she's doing this amazing, but to me, I'm just like, I'm so shit scared. I'm not sure if I should do this. I'm not sure about this idea, but I still put it out there. And when someone tells me, wow, this is amazing, I would watch this, or this is amazing, I would I love that, this person will benefit from this. And I'm like, okay. Thank you. Those positive words of reinforcement have, settled me,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Where can people find you?
You guys can find me on IG, Instagram, at ENEM_Vanessa. 1N_S.
Beautiful. Yeah, because people like to.
Maybe Vanessa,
different spelling.
And then you can find me on YouTube, NM's Engineering Envelope.
Ooh, I love that.
Thank you.
Wow, Vanessa. Okay, sis. Alrighty. Well, thank you for listening, guys. And yeah, that'll cut because I'm gonna do my outro thingy.